Welcome to part 2 of SuperTalk with Superintendent Glover, live from Tyree's table.
Yeah.
What's next for you? What's next? I know you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You
I appreciate it.
You speak. I don't know if you still coach or I know you were working with young people.
I do.
So what's next?
Yeah, what's next is I'm kind of living. I feel like I'm living in what's next. DT3 is a holding company. It's a hub that really,
I talk about that because people don't. It's on the website, but
absolutely
plug that.
So what pays the bills is, hey man, we'd love to come and speak, coach, or consult, whether it's schools, businesses. The coaching side is individual or team based. When my experience in athlete development is really leadership development, high performance, social and emotional, right? So at the end of the day is we help people understand their blind spots, and create action plans to facilitate growth in these areas and so I think that's really what our world needs. We need people to own who they are and who they're becoming. So that's one area, my story. There's always a ministry component. There's always an authentic marketplace component, and then there's the business component. Catch Camp was a product that we launched at the Super Bowl last year in 2023, and it was an amazing success. It's really a camp that is football, leadership development, and careers in sports. So it's my entire journey packaged into a camp.
Okay.
And so, we're looking to kind of do some find our partners there so that I can bring one to Hillside.
Have you heard that? It's live and we're talking about it. I'm sitting like, we got to get that with our kids.
Yeah, so it's really, because we say feed the dream, paint the reality. At the end of the day, we don't have to crush dreams to paint the reality, right? But we have to move along. We have to facilitate the pursuit of a dream and equip people not so that they don't have to fall off a cliff. When my era of athlete, they didn't have all the resources that today's athletes have.
Exactly.
They get paid now. So, the only liability I didn't have a future for my career when I left the game. I was sound in my marriage. I was sound in the areas that had tremendous, but I didn't have a vision for what I was gonna be the best at. And I'm walking away from this thing that I've been the best at my whole life. So that's really where most athletes will struggle. So let's say feed the dream, paint the reality. The business of sport is fully mature. So we're excited about that. Catch them on the podcast. You can catch us on every platform. We out here just grinding, man. Jersey style. That's
what we do in New Jersey, right? We grind, but we have a good time while we grind. That's important. My brother, you work in so many spaces, and as we wrap this up, we're talking about Mental Health Month, and I was recently sharing that we're struggling as a people, especially in our community. But for the Black community, we're really struggling. What are you seeing are some of the challenging points and spaces for our young people as you're out there? I see it from the educational space, right?
Sure.
And it gets masked a lot of times, but
it does.
You move in different spaces, you interact with folks in different age groups. What are you seeing? And then give some suggestions of what we could do.
Sure. When I think about it, number one, it's about we become like what we behold. And what does that mean? What we set our eyes on, we eventually become like. So we have this generation is a screen-driven generation.
Right.
They learn with their eyes, and I think number one, you have to guard your eye gates. So we talk about the mental health crisis that many people are labeling it. I think it's people finding their identity in places that are extrinsic versus intrinsic. First place to start is, from a male, you start as a son. Right? If you can do this, if you can make this progression, it'll serve us well. Be a good son. Then, Lord willing, you become a good husband.
Right.
Then eventually you'll become a good father. And I think that, because those are things I'm always going to be versus all the things that I'll do.
Right.
We're human beings, not human doings.
Just pause there for just a second.
Yeah.
The things you're going to do, you're going to become.
Yeah. And I think that's, so my wellness talk is called Be Well, Do Well. And if you can be well, then you can do well.
Right.
And I think that's the space that we can occupy and continue to facilitate the healthiest, training and, and cultivation when we consider our young people is like create the best atmospheres for them to get the holistic. So we have to monitor relationships. Everything I put in a realm of relationship. What's my relationship with the phone? What's my relationship with my wife? What's my relationship with sports? What's my relationship with television? And if those relationships aren't prioritized healthy, then I think that's where we start to suffer because, yeah, your mom is more important than your phone.
Yeah.
But we don't live like
it. Yeah. I don't. And so many of our young people are connected to this device right here.
Sure.
They're connected to family.
Correct.
Don't understand. It's very interesting. You go out to a restaurant to sit down to eat, and you see young people at the table, and my rules. If I'm paying, this better be and I'm the most important person at the table in my house.
Come on, bro.
Because I'm paying for this meal. So I'm the only one who can pick up the phone and go, we're talking. So it's funny, right? When I go out with my family, that's a tough challenge for my 27, 24 initiative. But now this might be the only time and the last time we have this opportunity.
It's true.
So let's create magic and memories.
Right?
I
love it.
Let's create magic and memories. So, I know with 7, if you go out to the dinner table, you might need to have someone have a phone for a couple minutes, keep it quiet. But I appreciate you, outlining those 3 points, especially as a male.
Sure.
Right? And so many of our men struggle. And I want to go back and encapsulate your honesty around being transparent.
Sure.
Help our young people today, especially our males, be comfortable saying, I need help.
Yeah.
I'm mentally struggling.
It's a sign of strength. Right. So, I'm still decent out here in these streets.
Right.
But the strongest thing I can do is confess my weakness. And it can just confess my need. And that can be to my wife, that can be to my brother. And you gotta find a safe place. You have to find a safe place. And to just be weak. And being weak doesn't mean that, like I said, it is truly a sign of strength because that's when I can get what I need. Humans we're needier than we would like to present ourselves to be.
Sure.
So, listen, we don't have to fake it. We can just, hey man, this is who I am. I'm struggling with reading. I'm struggling with communicating, right? Because because the whole thing to me is we don't have to be surprised about who we are today. If I can be sober about who I am today, I can get to who I need to be tomorrow. And that's the whole thing. If I shouldn't be ashamed of anything that I haven't received just yet.
Exactly.
I'm still here receiving.
Exactly.
And that's why you exist today, so that you can get everything that you need so that God can get you where you got to go.
I feel so many of our young people are masking their pain.
Yeah.
And I understand the legalization of marijuana, I understand that, but I just feel like so many young people are masking their pain, especially our brothers.
It's such a hard topic for me because, here's my thing is, I just believe that humans are dynamic, right? I think there's so many stories that prove it. So even in relation to what is legal doesn't mean that it's healthy.
Right.
And I think it's like alcohol, right? Like it's been legal for years.
Yeah, right.
And we have proven not to be great stewards of decision making. It actually impairs all of our decision making. Right? So just because it's legal doesn't mean it's helpful. Right? It might make you merry, it might give you some sense of relief, but you still got to deal with who you are tomorrow. And I think that's when you come to things, anything that's mind altering, you should question it.
Right.
And whether it's legal or not, whether it's pharmaceutical, listen, I think you should question your government. I mean, like intellectual thinking, sound thinking means that you should ask the right questions so that you can understand exactly what is beneficial to you. Just because they're a doctor and they pass their doesn't mean that they always have your best interests.
Exactly.
Because humans are innately self-preserving. And if money's their God, you better believe it's going to be at your expense. So it's, you introduce
like someone who had to go do that now.
Come on.
That's a topic so many young people don't understand. That's on another level. You talking about, that's the workplace. That's the workplace. In your workplace, I can understand that dollar is very important on Sundays. And
it's okay. I mean, like when I tell people I try to get through hard places with a good heart. I mean, like where I don't have to blame people for what did or didn't happen.
Right.
But because I'm a high level ownership guy, another keynote, right? Own your world.
Right.
Own your world. I mean, like, because if I didn't know it, that means I wasn't properly informed.
Right.
I mean, okay, if I'm going to go into a space of business, I need to know all the liabilities, all the traps. And guess what? When I fall in the trap, I didn't know it. I didn't have the conversation and do the due diligence necessary to avoid that trap.
Sorry.
So who do I get mad at? The person who was supposed to inform me, or for me not asking the right question?
Exactly, 100%.
I think it's both, but at the end of the day, it's me. Because this is something I'm putting my dollar down on, put my time into. That's how I take account for it. I'm like, okay, we're still growing.
Responsibility. So many people are afraid of that word. Like, you got to take ownership. You got to be responsible. So when you're selfish, you got to be responsible, right? Because you got to be responsible for those actions that you took.
I would tell my sons, I know I'm leaning in heavy on the men here, but I say reject passivity, accept responsibility, lead courageously, and expect a greater reward.
You got that in a poster.
I sure do.
We need to say that. Yeah, we need to put that on. That needs to be in every locker room right now.
Yeah, man.
And hallway in the schools.
Life is not just going to happen to you. So if you pass it, no, you have to live with intention. You have to live with tremendous intention. And like I said, that's if you want to say the workover on previous generations has been the absence of fathers. So we're working to overcome that. You have all kinds of community-driven resources. You have coaches. But there's nothing like, when we talk about the brokenness of a young man, there's nothing like a man who void of his father.
Yeah.
Because he's void of direction. He's void of identity. Yeah. And I thank God my dad, even though he wasn't in the home, he prioritized us where he was a stone's throw. Yeah. So he did his best, and that's why he's my hero. Yeah. As I grew to become a man, I'm like, it's my guy. Yeah. And still to this day, right here at Tyree's table, he works here at Tyree's table. And in one of the hardest seasons of my life was my dad, who was right there for me. And I think that's a foreshadowing of God, my father, helping me to realize that he's always for me.
That's beautiful. I don't want people to miss the points, and there was a lot of gems and little nuggets that were dropped. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
I appreciate you on multiple levels. Sitting in the chair of superintendent, I've been afforded to meet a lot of people, and I'm all about relationships and connections.
Sure.
I'm an educator at heart.
Absolutely.
I believe in children, students, especially students that look like me, and understanding this life journey. Because they see the shirt or they see if they see you clean cut, and they think, oh, you didn't go through it. We all have a journey, have a struggle, and I appreciate you giving time to allow people to hear your story.
Thank you.
When you click on the YouTube, they're gonna say, here's the catch, right? Love it or like it. But that's not you. I appreciate the connection that the sister has shared with us. I believe she's being brought together, and I hope my young people and others grab a word or two out of it. So I appreciate you, brother.
This was everything, man.
I appreciate
it. And I'm excited about your leadership, your impact. More SuperTalks on the way, but even more so, it's meaningful dialogue like this that will begin to lay the seed to build a beautiful garden in every community in a great garden state.
Man, you said as well. Folks, I'm talking to a brother who does a podcast probably more often than I do. I try to do mine once a month, but at the end of the day, here's what we're trying to accomplish when we do these podcasts. By the way, Catch the Moment podcast, David Tyree.
Check it out.
Got to make sure you put that in the Catch the Moment podcast. We're trying to just be a short little moment of conversations where we open up your eyes, your ears to something that may inspire you, spark a new conversation, or just give you insight into what we're trying to do. Hillside is more just a school district just for what you do in the hours of 8 to 3, 8 to 4. It's a 24-hour day because life was 24 hours.
Come on, bro.
Right? So I'm blessed to be able to sit next to some people who have lived it, right?
Yeah.
I can never sit here and say I did a professional thing, but I am a professional. Yeah. And I'm sitting next to a professional who can give insight into something else. Through a mental health month, I appreciate you giving your story, your transparency. That DT3.
That's what we do.
Check out the website, right? Any final words you want to share as we close out?
Man, just check us out. Hit the website. Anything I can do.
Want to plug your restaurant? You got to plug.
Tyree's Table right here, 68 South Street, Morristown, New Jersey. Functional nutrition. Come get something healthy for the body. We got smoothies, wraps, bowls. We got what you need. Organic, cold pressed juices. Cleanse. Give your body a reset. There you go.
See, and you're still cool with it, right? You're still cool with it. Hillside, stand up. This is Superintendent Glover coming to you with another episode of Super Talk. Let's go.
Appreciate it.
All right.